So up to now we have seen the inductively coupled plasma. So in that inductively coupled plasma, we we have seen the complete instrumentation and its applications. Okay. So we will again revise that inductively coupled plasma. So in an inductively coupled plasma or ICP, we generally use the argon gas source. Okay. So from here, argon gas is introduced into the chamber. So inside that chamber we are having radio frequency coil as well as magnetic coils. Okay, so all of these coils will maintain the very high velocity for the argon gas, and in the end we get the plasma. And the whole process is what? So first त्याच्यामध्ये काय होणार आहे तर जो आर्गॉन गॅस आपण इंट्रोड्यूस केलेला आहे त्याचं आयनायझेशन होणार आहे. राईट, फर्स्ट ionization by using the electric coils. So when that argon gas is introduced, we get the ionization of that argon. So result काय त्याचा तर argon ions plus electrons. Okay, so आपल्याला ionization मुळे argon ions and electrons भेटणार आहेत. So once that ions are get introduced into the magnetic field, so that magnetic field will accelerate these ions. Okay, so once that ions get accelerated, so ions will collide with each other. So due to that collision, a large amount of heat is get generated. Okay, so once that collision is sufficient enough to generate very high amount of heat, so that heat is nothing but our resulted into the plasma. Okay, so very high gases having very high temperature are nothing but our plasma. So once that plasma is generated, that can be used for the estimation of our samples. Okay, so generally we use the argon gas. So most of the plasma sources will uses the simple sample introduction. Okay, because in this argon gas is involved, so we need to also maintain this pressure of the argon gas. So sample vapor introduction is also simple in this ICP technique. Okay, generally we use the concentric glass nebulizer. Here we have shown something. Okay, so concentric gas nebulizer is used as a sample introduction chamber, or sometimes electrothermal atomizer can also be used. Okay, so there are two ways by which we can introduce the sample into this ICP source. Okay, so which are those two techniques? First is say concentric glass nebulizer, and another one is the electrothermal atomizer. Okay, so in this ICP source, there are certain advantage for this source. Okay, so one advantage is the time and the gas or the cost of that gas, which is quite low. Okay, so time also required for the generation of plasma is quite low. Then another one is the chemical interference, which are also less as compared to the other sources or the flame sources. So chemical interference is negligible. Again, that once that ionization is happen or ionization has occurred, the ionization interference might also be occur, and this also is quite low in case of argon gas, and here we are using argon gas as a source. So again, that is also good advantage for the ICP source, that is the ionization interference does not affect the overall analysis. The next one is the plasma once generated will gives you the constant flow of electrons. Okay, so once plasma is generated, it will gives you the constant flow of electron. Okay, and the last advantage is the once that first atomization has occurred into the uh, chemically inert environment, we get the very long life of the that particular ions. Okay, so once atomization has occurred into the chemically inert environment, which will gives you to enhance into the lifetime of the analyte for preventing the oxidation of the analyte. Okay, so these are the certain points which are important for the ICP source. Okay, so next is our second source is the direct coupled plasma. Okay, total there are three types of source. One is our inductively coupled plasma or ICP, second is the direct current plasma or DCP, and the last one is the microwave inductive plasma. Okay, so in detail we are going to see these two sources only, that is high temperature sources, that ICP and DCP. Microwave inductive plasma is not there in the syllabus. Okay, so first is the ICP, and now second we go going to see the direct current plasma. Okay, so again in this technique also we are going to use the same argon gas. Okay, but what are the changes in that instrument, that we will see once we got the introduction of our this DCP source. Okay, so first we will see the introduction of this source. So DCP source was first described in the 1920 and were systematically investigated as a source for the emission of spectroscopy for several decades. Okay, so it is a quite historically used, widely used source. Okay, and the ICP is quite advanced source. Okay. It was not until the 1970s, however, that the first commercial DCP emission source was introduced. The source became quite popular, particularly among the soil scientists and geochemists. Okay, for the multi-elemental analysis. So it we'll see that after how that the source are beneficial over the our normal flame analysis. Okay, so these sources like ICP or DCP sources gives you the better result in comparison with the normal flame atomizers or flame emission techniques. Okay, so the below figure which systematically shows the commercial available DCP source means how it looks actually. Okay, so the instrumentation is shown in the diagram. Okay, so there are the two types of arms along which uh, the electrons are generated. Okay, there are two arms along which electrons are generated, and generally these uh, arms are made up of the um, okay, graphite anode. So they are made up of the graphite, and it is generally inverted y-shape device. Okay, so here we can see this. So this instrument or the arrangement of all of this anode and cathode is in such a way that it certainly look like the inverted Y shape, where the anode blocks are made up of the graphite. Okay, and that graphite, okay, a graphite anode is located in the each arm of inverted Y shape, and the tungsten cathode is at the vertex base. Okay, so there are two graphite anode and one center tungsten cathode. Okay, once that argon flows from the two anode, okay, so there are the two arms through which the argon gas is flows into the excitation region. Okay, so there is a excitation region where the ionization takes place. Okay, so the plasma jet is formed by bringing the cathode into the momentarily contact with the anodes. Okay, and the ionization of argon gas occurs and the current is developed, which is around 14 ampere. So this additionally generated ions sustains the current indefinitely. Okay? And the temperature which is generated at a core is more than 80,000. Okay, sorry, 8,000 Kelvin, and at the viewing region which is about, okay, 5,000 Kelvin, and the sample is aspirated into the area between the two arms. Okay, so in diagram it will be quite clear. Okay, so the sample is aspirated into the areas between the two arms of Y, where it is get sample, obviously it should be get atomized and excited, and the detection should be takes place once that sample get excited. Okay, so the basic use for this all of the sources is to atomize the given sample, then excite the given sample, and finally we need to detect that sample. Okay, So the spectra which is produced by the direct current plasma, which tend to have the fewer lines than those which are produced by the ICP. Okay, so this spectra which obtained from the direct current plasma is quite clear. Okay, so या ICP सोर्स पासून जो स्पेक्ट्रा मिळालेला आहे आपल्याला तो थोडाफार कॉम्प्लेक्स असतो, राईट. त्याच्यामध्ये इंटरफेरन्स असणार अदर आयन्सचा पण, एक स्पेसिफिक आयन्सच्या व्यतिरिक्त. बट इन डायरेक्ट करंट प्लाझ्मा वी गेट टू टेन दी fewer lines than that of the ICP. Okay, so we will first see this diagram complete of how that actually working will take place. Okay, so there are two anode which are made up of the graphite. Okay, which are made up of the graphite, and through which this anode we are injecting the argon gas. Okay, argon gas, and the cathode is there, which is made up of, here cathode is there, which is made up of the tungsten. Okay, tungsten, and that is also embedded. Okay, that is also embedded with the electrode. Okay, so once that sample is going to introduced, the spark is generated, or the uh, current is generated around 14 ampere. Okay, so this is quite large current. Okay, 14 ampere. So that 14 ampere current will make the excitation of samples coming from this sample chamber. Okay, so here along with this sample we are going to introduce argon gas again, and that introduction will resulted into the plasma column, generation of some plasma column at this excitation region. So once that excitation has happened, the various phenomena like first atomization, then ionization, and last one is the excitation. All these three phenomena will occur simultaneously, and we get the emission spectrum for the particular sample. Okay, so these important parts are the graphite anode, then tungsten cathode, and how this all are interconnected with each other, and the excitation region. So the excitation region will result into the development of temperature of about 8000 Kelvin, and the viewing region which having the temperature of around 5000 Kelvin. Okay, so this is the diagram which shown the how this complete instrument will looks like. Okay, so there are the less line in the direct current plasma as compared with the ICP source. So the sensitivity achieved by the DCP is ranges from an order of magnitude lower than the obtained with the ICP. Okay, so sensitivity is quite less as compared with the ICP, but the we can say accuracy of the particular element is quite high. Okay, the reproducibility of the two systems is quite similar. So if we we have been asked compare these two sources, ICP and DCP, then we can say that DCP will show you the less sensitive result as compared with the ICP, and again the line separation or the lines obtained in the DCP are less as compared with the ICP, and reproducibility of this both of the system is quite similar. Okay, so less argon is required for the DCP, so this is a quite one better advantage for the DCP, and the auxiliary power supply is simpler as less complex and less expensive. Okay, so in ICP source we required very high temperature, as we have seen in the demonstration video. There we need to have the very high voltage, okay, for the generation of plasma in the ICP, but here in DCP we are generating the current. Okay, so we require the less expensive and simpler power supply. Okay, and the direct current plasma is able to handle the organic solution as well as aqueous solution with very high solid content, and it is which is better than that of the ICP. So this is again a good advantage for the direct current plasma. So one advantage is the less power supply and less expensive power supply. The second advantage is it can be able to handle the organic solution as well as aqueous solution with having very high solid content. Okay, the sample volatilization, which is often incomplete with the direct current plasma. Okay, so sample vapor volatilization is sometimes not occur because we are not going to generate the very high amount of temperature. Okay? Sometimes it might be happen within a single click, or sometime it might not happen. Okay, because the temperature is varying from around 3000 degree. Okay, there is a gap between temperature ranges, so there is quite sometime it might be possible that volatile samples or the some sample might not be get volatile. Okay, so the optimum viewing region of the direct current plasma is quite small, so optics which have to be carefully aligned to magnify the sources images. Okay, so along with this graphite electrode which must be, so here we are using the graphite electrode as a anode, but quite there is a one disadvantage for this, that we need to replace this graphite electrode every few hours. Okay, so once this graphite electrode get used, we need to replace them by another new graphite electrode, so it will generate the maintenance cost of this instrument. Okay, so certainly there are the few advantage, and certainly there are certain disadvantage for the DCP. Okay, so the advantages are the lines produced by these sources are quite few lines are produced, so we get the specific atoms, and the reproducibility is the around same, and less argon gas is required. And disadvantages are the graphite electrode which we must be recycle after a few hours, and the sensitivity of the result obtained is quite less. Okay,